Hi, this is Munson, and we're going to talk about how you could play a song called A Man Who Is Gonna Die Young by Eric Church. And I'm kind of working off a live recording here and kind of working off a capo on 3rd fret. But we could walk through some stuff in root position, and we start out with kind of that intro lick. And you start out with kind of a hammer-on the B string from 1st to 3rd fret, and then we play that twice, and then we do a pull-off from 3 to 1, and then we play the B string 1st fret, and then we go 2nd on the G string and kind of do a hammer on the 4th fret, and then we do a pull off back to 2nd fret, and then we go back to that 1-3 hammer on, and then that 3-1 pull off, and then open B, and then 4th fret on the G to 2nd fret on the G, and then 2nd fret on the G to kind of an open G, kind of pull off idea. And a G note would kind of back that whole thing up. So if you wanted to, you could kind of throw in the low E string on the 3rd fret. And kind of work that way. And that might be kind of a cool way to kind of intro the tune. And you kind of hear that kind of come back through the song. And the chord that would back that up would be a G major chord. When you play G major, first finger goes to A on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the low E string on the 3rd fret, and 3rd finger on the high E string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about putting the 3rd finger on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E string 3rd, and using that for your G major. And if you're just going to strum through that part, actually, you could kind of work kind of an 8 down idea and make that really sneaky. Or one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 light, this is down, down, up, down, up. So you have the G, down, up, down, a G, down, up, down, a G, down, up, down, a G. Or on the cut that I was listening to, it's more of a fingerstyle idea. And if you're interested in that, a lot of times you kind of use basses. And for the G chord, you'd have the low E string would be a bass note for that chord. And you could kind of line your fingers up, index on the G string, middle on the B string, ring finger on the high E string, and kind of use a little arpeggio or broken chord of the G, where you could go low E for the bass, and then G string, B string, E string, and come back B string, G string, B string. So you're going bass, G, B, E, B, G, B. That could be kind of a cool thing with that G major. If you wanted to kind of make it a little bit more laid back, a little bit more emotional. So kind of doing a bass, G, B, E, B, G, B is kind of another option too. Or you could even take that bass note and add it to your strum pattern and make it kind of a bass, down, up, down, up. It could be kind of a cool way to work it too. And then from that intro part, then we go into our main verse. And we start out on a G major, but then we go to a C major chord. We play C major. First finger goes to the B on the 1st fret, 2nd finger on the D string 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the A string 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now on the C chord, you may want to think about lifting off the 1st finger and making that a C major 7, or you could add in the pinky on the B string 3rd and make it a C major 9. Or another way to play C major 9 is to do 1st finger on the D 2nd, 2nd finger on the A string 3rd, 3rd finger on the B string 3rd, and the pinky on the high E string 3rd. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, it sounds a C major 9, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from the C, we're going to be going to a D major chord. And the way you play D major, 1st finger goes to the G string on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the high E 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the B string 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now on Ds in general, it can be kind of cool to lift off the 2nd finger and make that a D suspended 2nd, or you could take the pinky and add it in on the high E 3rd and make it a D sus, or you might want to dig on using a D7, because there's this cool little lick around a D7 chord, where you do 1st finger on the B string 1st fret, 2nd finger on the G string 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the high E 2nd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D7 chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now around the D7 chord, you can also lift off the 3rd finger and make that kind of a D7 sus 2. Or you could add in the pinky on the high E string and kind of work that as kind of a D7 sus. And there's this cool little lick where he comes in around the D7 sus, where you could do the D string, G string, B string, high E string, and then back to the B, and then take the 3rd, or the pinky, and kind of do 3rd fret on the high E string as kind of a pull off, and then kind of do an open E to 2nd fret on the high E as kind of a hammer on pull off, and then back to 3rd on the B string. It kind of happens on some of the Ds, especially at the end, and that can be a cool thing to kind of try that fingerstyle too. And then from the D we go back to our G chord and we kind of mix that up. So we tried our verse with our strum pattern. We'd have the G, C, D, G, C, C, D, D, G, C, D, G, C, C, G, D. And from that first verse, then we'd be going into our pre-chorus part. And we start on the C major, and then we go to D major, and then we go to a G major, but in the bass line, you'll actually kind of hear where it does the low E string for a bass on the G, and then kind of an A string for the bass note on the G, and that's called a G/B when you kind of change that bass to the A string. And then we go to a C major 3 times, and then we go to a D twice at the end. So on our pre-chorus, we got kind of that C, D, G, G/B, C, 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 D. And then we kind of repeat that twice. And then we go into our chorus part. And our chorus starts on the C major, but then we go to an A minor chord, and we play A minor. Third finger kind of goes from the A string third to the G string second, and that sounds an A minor chord. It sounds really sad. Now you may also want to kind of dig on lifting off the third finger and making that an A minor 7, or you can take the pinky and add it on the high E third for an A minor 7. And then from the A minor we go back to our C major, and then we kind of do our G, but they kind of hear that B in the bass, and then we do an A minor, and then we go back to D major, kind of on that first chorus. So we'd have our C, A minor, C, G/B, A minor, D, to kind of lead us back into our intro part. And we'd be mixing up a lot of those things through the song. Now the weird part is to play along with that live cut of Eric Church, instead of starting on a G major chord, starting on a B flat major chord. So to play along with the recording, what you want to do is take a capo, and if you put it on 3rd fret, then now your G major is really a B flat major, and your C major is really an E flat major, and your D major is really an F major, and your A minor is really a C minor chord. But you may want to kind of kick it off with kind of that intro part. And people be like, oh my gosh, this man who is going to die by Eric Church, I love this song. So you may want to kind of play around with that. So that might be a cool way to kind of intro the tune. Or you can kind of use that down idea around the G, or the down, down, up, up, or the bass down, up, down, up. Any of those can be kind of cool for that intro. And then from there, we'll be going into our verse part. If we're going to add basses to those, you'd have the low E string for your bass on the G chord. On the C chord, you'd have the A string for the bass. And on the D, you'd have the D for the bass. And on the A minor, you'd have the A for the bass. And on the G/B, you'd do the A string for the bass. So we could kind of try that verse, kind of adding in basses just to get used to where the basses are. We'd have G with low E bass, C with an A bass, D with a D bass, G with low E bass, C with an A bass, C with an A bass, D with a D bass, D, G, C, D, G, then we'd be going into our pre-chorus part, and then we have the C, D, then our G with low E bass, G/B with an A bass, C with an A bass, C with an A bass, C with an A bass, D or a D7 with a D bass. Or you can kind of try and get that lick around it too. That could be a cool thing to do on that last D. G/B, C. From there, then we'd be kind of going into our chorus part. Our chorus with basses, we'd have the C with an A bass, A minor with an A bass, C with an A bass, G/B with an A bass, A minor with an A bass, D with a D bass, into our intro part. Now you could kind of work this as kind of a all fingerstyle, and you could even kind of take that idea we were kind of working at that little fingerstyle arpeggio for the G and work it that way, and that might even be kind of a cool thing to kind of try that intro lick. Kind of doing that fingerstyle. So you might want to kind of play around with that. And if we tried that idea through our verse and kind of that arpeggio idea with the basses, then we kind of have our G chord, and then C, D, G, C, C, D, G, C, D, G, C, C, or you might want to throw that D lick in at the end. And then from there, then we'll be going into our pre-chorus part. So we try that through the pre-chorus. The weird part is where we got that G/B, and you may want to do that as just kind of G, bass, G, B, E on both of those chords. So you'd have the C, D, G, G/B, C, 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 or you can even throw that D lick in if you wanted to. And then C, D, G, G/B, C, 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 and then we got our D lick. And then we'd be going into our chorus part. And on our second chorus, actually, we kind of got kind of a C to a G/B lick. Actually, it's kind of almost like holding on the C a little bit longer than the other chorus. So we'd have a C, A minor, C, and then a C, G/B, A minor, D, and then from there, then we kind of go into kind of a freeform solo, and you could kind of just follow the chord progression there, kind of that G, G, D, G, G, C, and you might want to throw in that D lick to lead back into our last verse. So then we have our G, C, D, G, C, C, and then you could throw in that D lick. And then the G, C, D, G, and then C, D, and then you might want to pick it back up on kind of that intro part. Or you may want to pick it back up on kind of that fingerstyle, kind of intro part for that second time through, or it's kind of an outro idea. That could be a cool way to kind of close it off too. But that's the basics of how you could strum through and kind of easily fingerstyle through A Man Who Was Gonna Die Young by Eric Church. So good luck.